Okay guys, so I got a new bike. I know it might not be exactly what you were expecting after my last video, but nevertheless, here it is. I'm going to talk a bit about why I chose it. We're going to do a bit of a walk around because it's been sort of requested. You may have already seen the new bike on Instagram because I've had it since last weekend. So I've had it just over a week sort of, but I haven't rode it that much because of work, but I can give you sort of a brief overview of what I think of it so far and obviously go over what I like and what made me choose it. Okay, so obviously it's a Yamaha MT09 SP. If you've been following me for a while or have seen some of my old videos, you'll know that I've always had Yamahas. Ever since day one I've had Yamahas. That's not purposely, it's just sort of been coincidence, I think. My first one was an Aerox when I was 16, and then I had a WR, the supermoto version, and then my MT07, and now this. So did it seem kind of right to get another Yamaha? I guess it did, because it's what I know, and I have so much merch, Yamaha merch, that maybe would have been useless, but yeah, anyway, that's not the point. As a whole, I do like the MT series. Obviously I've had one and I just like them. I like naked bikes. It's not that I don't like sports bikes, I just think for on the road it's more suitable. I can see over cars. I just prefer being sat higher up, and with this I do feel like I'm sat really high. It does sort of feel like a supermoto compared to my MT07. If you're wondering what the difference is like, this is absolutely nothing like my 07 in any way, but obviously we'll get to that. So for those of you who don't know an awful lot about the 09, it's an 847cc triple machine. I'm a big fan of triples anyway, as you saw in the last video. I really like triples. I love the sound of them, and this one especially is just super torquey, and it's just a bit of an animal, to be honest. But if you're wondering why I chose this over the Triumph, there's a few good reasons, to be honest. As I mentioned in the Triumph video, the Triumph was too small for me, to be honest. Not only did it feel small, it looked incredibly small. I made it look so small. It looked like a 250 or something, and obviously that's not a really big issue, but I'm just sick of making bikes look small because I'm so tall, and I'm not like super petite either. I'm not, so it makes it look even worse. And as I mentioned, I know that my legs would have been aching, so that put me off quite a lot. And then there was the price. As I mentioned on the video, the insurance was just ridiculous, and I did all I could. People were referring me to people, managers of insurance companies, like everyone was trying so hard to help me, and obviously I'm really grateful for that help, but we just couldn't get it to any lower than £1,000, which is absolutely ridiculous. I've got 7 years no claims, so I wasn't going to pay that, to be honest. And in the end, my local Yamaha dealer is Wigan Yamaha. I've bought every bike of mine bar one from there, so I have a really good relationship with them, and they did me a deal, a really good deal. So this was cheaper than the used Street Triple RS, so it was kind of a no-brainer. And then the insurance was £10 a month more than I'm paying now, £10. So it was just incredibly cheap compared to the Triumph. So in my situation, it just made sense to go with the MT09, and I do really like it. I like how aggressive it looks. That was the other thing about the Triumph. It didn't look aggressive to me. As, not to say that it doesn't look aggressive, but in comparison to this, it is completely different, and this looks so much bigger. This whole section here, it looks beefy. It looks beastie to me, and I really like that. Obviously I don't want my bike to look small, so that was another like selling point, how aggressive it looks in comparison to the Triumph. And I do still like the Triumph, and it rode absolutely amazing, but they are completely different bikes. I think obviously this does have more power, but this is just so aggressive, not only in its looks in its power as well. The throttle is just, it's super sensitive. So I do feel like it's probably going to take me, it's definitely going to take me a lot longer to get used to than it would have done the Triumph. I think I probably would have got used to that a lot quicker, but then would I have got bored a lot quicker as well? That's something to think about. Whereas with this, I think it's going to take me a while to get used to, and probably a while to get bored of. Not that I really get bored that easily. I mean, I had the MT07 for 3 years, so yeah. But with regards to the MT07, like I said, I've had it for 3 years and I just wanted a change. I was bored. I didn't want to put any more money into it because people were saying, oh, why don't you do this, why don't you change the suspension and whatnot, because obviously the suspension on the MT07s isn't great standard, but I just didn't want to put any more money into it. I didn't love it anymore, in all honesty, so I just needed a change, and obviously I've got this to get going with. So as with regards to mods, it's going to be pretty much transformed. So this is the SP colour scheme, but I don't actually like it. I like it, it's just not something I would choose, and it's not for me. So it will be getting a whole new colour scheme, which some of you may think is an absolute crime, because it is nice, but that wouldn't really be me. You know it's going to be yellow. You know there's going to be yellow in there, don't you? So that's one of the things that will be happening, but I feel like that's probably one of the things that will happen last, because I'd rather put my bike away in winter or send it away to be repainted rather than send it away in summer and have no bike for 6 weeks. So that will be sort of the last things to do, but I do have like a lot of other plans. So exhaust, obviously standard exhaust is no good, is it really? Especially after the MT07 with the Akrapovic just like creating thunder. This is a bit different, but yeah. So I've got a whole bunch of R&G stuff to go on, which is like the first modifications, if you like, to do, and then just like little bits, like I want some bar end mirrors, I think what else, like levers, and you know, just little bits. But the main thing will be the colour transformation. I've got big plans for it. I'm not going to reveal them now because it'll be a surprise, but yeah, I just can't wait, to be honest. I'm not the kind of person that enjoys having a standard bike, so yeah, I'm excited to get going with that. Okay, so I'm going to do a little walk around with you now, because this is one of the things that's been requested quite a lot. So we've got the, I think it's race blue, this on the wheels. It's a nice colour, but it's not really my colour. And then we've got the logo on the wheels as well, and then you've got the fully adjustable focus, fully adjustable forks. There's your compression, high and low speed, and then we'll work our way up to the top. Looks smart. You've also got the black standard levers, which is, I think, is pretty nice, because obviously you usually like silver and look a bit crap, but I much prefer the black sort of stealth look. Obviously we've got the logo on the tank. This paint is actually really nice. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's really glittery. Maybe if I turn down, I don't know if you can see it, but yes, it is nice. What I was saying was, I'm not too keen on this section of how much silver there is. It's just a bit empty, but I have got some tank grips to put on there, so maybe that will help that break it up a bit. Obviously the CB3 engine, which, sorry, I nearly fell over, is obviously a really good engine. If you know anything about the 09s or know anyone that's had one, they'll tell you the exact same thing. Standard exhaust, it's a bit of an eyesore. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not really great, is it? But obviously, once, I've not really decided on an exhaust yet, but once I do, I'll try and get a new exhaust fitted ASAP, to be honest. Rear pegs, I've got some peg blankers for them, so we'll take them off because I don't really take pillions. I also forgot to point out that logo. That's pretty nice. That's in the paint, so it's underneath, so it's not a sticker or anything like that. If fuel cap, standard Yamaha fuel cap. And then we've got the dash. To be honest, I like the dash. It's pretty straightforward. It's not too much, but I think it looks nice. I've got traction control on 2 at the moment, and it's in standard mode, and I have a full tank. And obviously at 75, that's how many miles I've done, which isn't a lot, like I said. But we should be changing that later today and tomorrow. Then obviously you've got your kill switch, and switch it on. So this here is the mode button. So if we look on here, A, B and standard. So A is the most responsive, so A for animal, I guess. B is sort of what you might want to use in the rain, and then standard is standard, what it says. So it's pretty good. You don't need to have it running. This is just switched on at the key, because some of them you have to pull the clutch in and all sorts of stuff, but it's just straightforward. And then traction control is over here. I don't know if you can see, it's a bit bright, but yeah. So the traction control is there as well, so we can change that. And if you hold it down, you can turn it off. So there you go, off. And then to turn it back on, I think you hold it down, I don't know. But yeah, so that's just push it up and down, hold it down, and then obviously you've got your standard stuff. The SP also comes with a quick shifter as standard, which you can see here. And another thing I didn't mention, it does have a slipper clutch, the SP. And then we move on to the Öhlins, fully adjustable. It's a bit weird how it's here rather than underneath like normal, but it's sort of easy to get to. You might just want to put a mark on it because people could mess with it. But say if you're gonna put someone on the back, which I never do, like I said, you can turn this and adjust that there. The rear light is a massive improvement from the original MT09, I think, in my eyes. It almost sort of looks a bit like the S1000 or a smaller version of it. It just looks pretty good. But then we get onto this. The rear plate hanger that's attached to the swing arm. It's a bit of an eyesore, let's be honest. I understand why they've done it because of all the regulations and whatnot, but yeah, not a fan. So this is going to be coming off. Like I said, I do have a tail tidy for it, so we'll get that swapped out and put it back up here like it should be. And it's also a bit of a safety hazard because I have walked into it, because if you look how much it sticks out, I walked by, caught my knee and like almost broke my leg. So yeah, it's not the safest. And how ridiculous does this look? It's like a bloody street lamp. The tyres it comes with are Bridgestone S20s. S20R maybe. Why won't you lighten? There we go, got it. Obviously I've not done that many miles, so I can't really comment on them and whether they're any good or I like them. But they seem alright so far. Ignore the massive chicken strips as well. And then again on the rear wheels it's got the MT09 SP branding on there.